Hare Krishna and Save Soil World Razor, Sabine and Roger here. Let's watch why Pandavas went to hell and the Kauravas went to heaven. Sadhguru, please explain. One of our members dropped this bomb during our Zoom call and I had no idea about it because it was not covered during the B.R. Chopra Mahabharat that we just watched. All 94 episodes are available for our members and Patreons. I can't wait to find out because it was a shocker. It was quite a shocker for me.
Yeah, totally. It was a total shocker / spoiler. But we weren't continuing, so it needed to be discussed and brought up, but we didn't really get any information.
No, I don't know why.
Further than that. So this is the video. Hopefully that's going to explain it to us, and then we can finally let there be peace. Because what?
What's happening?
Yeah, what is going on? So let's find out from the one and only Sadhguru.
Parikshit had grown up as a fine young man.
That's Abhimanyu's son.
So Yudhishthira said, it's time we coronate Parikshit and we try to sort out our own lives. So they coronated Parikshit as the emperor of the Kuru dynasty. He was the only living one.
Oh yeah, he was in the womb.
This is
yeah.
Abhimanyu's son
Okay.
and Arjuna's grandson.
Yeah.
These 6 people, the Pandavas and Draupadi, decided to go on their vanaprastha. And when they walked out of Hastinapur, people gathered in huge numbers because they have been around for so long. There are many of the older generation who have seen them through all kinds of trials and tribulations, and they have come out successful. They have ruled for 36 years and now they are leaving. It's a major event and a change that's happening in the empire. And Yudhishthira said, instead of going into a forest close by, which they had explored plenty in 12 years.
Oh, maybe not.
Yudhishthira said, let's climb the Mount Mandara in the Himalayas. So they started climbing. Steep mountains, they climbed up steadily for weeks on end. And as they were getting into steeper climbs, one day as they were walking, Draupadi slipped and fell. The 4 brothers were distraught, they screamed, Draupadi fell. She just went down the mountain.
Only 4 brothers?
Yeah, I'm confused.
No, don't get ideas. Don't think it's like a Hindi cinema, the last scene, when somebody falls off a cliff,
And then they start dancing.
No, don't think of that. She's too proud, even now, to say, she'll go silently down and tut. She's that kind. You need to understand her. She will not go and all this. All the 4 were distraught. Yudhishthira did not even turn back, he kept going. Then they caught up with him and Bhima asked, why? Why Draupadi has to fall?
What do you mean fall? Is
She
dead?
has suffered so much in her life.
Fell.
She stood by us right through. Why should she fall? What has she done? What wrong has she done? So Yudhishthira said, there are many things, but let me say one thing. One thing is, she committed herself that she will love all the 5 husbands equally, but she could never manage that. She always loved Arjuna and longed to be with him as a wife. She only fulfilled her duty with us. Her love was only for Arjuna.
What?
And when she came to know Karna is also Kunti's son, she wondered, why can't she have him? For these 2 things she has fallen.
Maybe
and
desire?
they continued.
She desired Karna?
Then Nakula fell.
What do you mean fell? They're dead or what? I don't
When
understand.
Nakula fell, they asked, why did Nakula fall?
I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah, does fall mean
Nakula
dead? Let us know.
was too proud. He was supposed to be the most handsome man. He was too proud of his appearance. His vanity made him fall, Yudhishthira said. They continued further. Then Sahadeva fell. Then they asked, why? This man barely uttered a word. Then Yudhishthira said, he barely uttered a word, not out of his humility, because he was smug. All the time, whatever is happening around him, he knows because of the wisdom that he imbibed. But he cannot speak, but that did not bring humility to him. He was always smug. Then Bhima fell. Then Arjuna asked, why Bhima? He's such a lovable, pure human being. So Yudhishthira said, what did Bhima in is his gluttony. He ate not like a man, he ate like a pig.
Oh no!
Oh boy.
And he enjoyed other people's suffering, whoever they may be. If you begin to enjoy other people's suffering, you are hammering nails on your own coffin. You don't do that. You can cause suffering sometimes. Sometimes it may be necessary to cause suffering to somebody. It may so happen that the actions that you take will cause suffering to somebody, but you never ever enjoy it. You do not enjoy somebody else's suffering. If you think you can enjoy somebody's suffering and bring well-being to yourself, you are in a fool's paradise. And that was Bhima's state. He believed he has to enjoy other people's suffering. Otherwise, his own success is not fulfilled. For that he fell. Arjuna fell. Nobody to ask a question. Yudhishthira just mumbled that his vanity of being the best archer in the world, though he was not. He was a great archer, but not the best. To be the best, he would cut somebody's thumb, he would do something else, whatever needed. And still all his life he lived with the insecurity. Just suppose tomorrow morning a strapling youth of 16 comes and shoots better than me, what do? He constantly lived with this insecurity, but that he fell. Yudhishthira alone walked on. Then Indra sent his vehicle to pick up Yudhishthira. The process of what's happening here is, there is a context to this. That is, if you arrive absolutely virtuous, you can go to Devaloka with your physical body.
What?
That means you can enjoy the Devaloka. If you go to Devaloka without your physical body and they're all eating well, what do? All apsaras floating around, what do? If you put food, it'll fall down. No body, So Yudhishthira alone is going to be picked up with his physical body. So the vehicle came and escorts, the hospitality escorts from Devaloka
So he's going to heaven or what?
said,
Oh, he
you
is…
come in,
Yudhishthira,
we have
yeah.
come to pick you up.
So one is?
But what is this dog, they said. Yudhishthira turned back and saw there was a dog behind
A
him.
dog,
And he recognized this dog. This was the same dog which was running around them when they were walking the streets of Hastinapur. He couldn't believe it. He did not even notice. In his focus to just keep going, he did not even turn back and look at his brothers and Draupadi. Where would he have noticed the dog? This poor dog, all the way from Hastinapur, it has come with me. Then he said, I don't know what this dog is, but it's come with me, all the way. Everybody else fell.
Who is that?
So if he has made it this far, probably he deserves it. So let him go with me. They said, no, dogs not allowed in Devloka. Yudhishthira looked at the dog. The dog looked at him hopefully Then he said, no, I cannot leave this dog.
Oh.
I did not call him, but he's traveled all the way. When my wife and my 4 brothers, who I believe are virtuous men, fell off because they were unfit to come this far, and if this dog made it, it must have some karma within himself that he's come this far.
Yeah.
So if fate and destiny did not take him down, it is not for me to reject him. We will take the dog. They said, no dogs on our craft. We don't have that kind of seat belts.
Sure.
He said, no dog means then even I am not going. I will sit on this mountain and leave my body, but I will not go. They were very amused. What? If you can't bring your dog, you will not come to heaven? He said, it's not my dog. I don't know whose dog, what dog this is. But all I know is, he's made the journey, so maybe he's fit. It is not for you to judge. If he was not fit, he should have fallen along with my brothers and my wife. He did not fall. How can we deny him? Then they landed in heaven or in Devaloka along with the dog.
Oh, did go.
Then the first thing he asked is, where are my brothers? Where is Panchali? He said, we'll go first, let's go into Indra's assembly.
Oh God.
He walked into Indra's assembly, there Kaurava was sitting, Duryodhana was sitting like this, as usual, in full arrogance and glory. Seeing Duryodhana first, sitting in the assembly
Unbelievable.
Duryodhana.
of gods,
Oh, yeah. Wild.
Yudhishthira was taken aback.
Me too.
He has made it here?
How?
Then he looked this way, Dushyasana was sitting even more arrogantly.
Dushashan.
Unbelievable.
Holy smokes.
Shakuni too, but there
Shakuni!
were no sign of his brothers, no sign of Karna, no sign of Panchali.
Why?
He said, this is not fair. How could Duryodhana come here? He is the cause of all the murder we had to commit. He is the cause of so much pain and suffering in our life and in so many other people's lives. How come he's sitting there? How did he find entry?
Yeah.
And where are my brothers?
Yeah.
Where's my wife? They said, your brothers and your wife are in another place. He said, then I'm not interested in this assembly. First I want to go there and see how they're doing.
Let me go to hell.
They said, don't you want to sit with Indira? He said, no, it doesn't mean anything. First I want to know where my brothers are. I don't like Duryodhana, Dushyasana, Shakuni sitting in such prominent places in this Devaloka. I want to see my brothers. They said, okay, and they took them down a winding path. This was a beautiful, fabulous place. As they went down, it started getting darker, potholes and not badly lit, and went down, 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 really into the pit of darkness. And then he started smelling all kinds of evil smells, and he started hearing moans of suffering and people screaming in pain, all kinds of things worse than Kurukshetra battle.
What? Oh yeah, of course,
He
hell.
asked, what is this place? Why are you taking me here? You mean to say my brothers are in this place?
Unbelievable.
Then he heard screams and shouts. A female voice. Is that Panchali? Why is she screaming? Are you torturing her? Then he heard one by one the voices of all his brothers. Why is my wife and my brothers in hell? When Duryodhana and his clan are sitting in heaven, this is not fair. The gods who took him down, they said, it's not for us to decide. The dharma and karma is decided by Chitragupta, who keeps accounts. We just taking you down. If you don't like the place, let's go back. We just brought you here, we're just guides, that's all. Let's go, you don't seem to like the place. For sure I don't like the place. But how can I leave my brothers my wife here and go. I have to take them and go. The guard said, that's not our business. We can't do that. Then Yudhishthira thought for one long moment. Then he said, I will stay here. I will stay here with my wife and my brothers. I don't want to go to the Devaloka. I will stay in hell. They asked, are you sure?
Wow.
He said, yes.
Bodhisattva.
This is where I will stay.
Maybe it's a test.
Then Indira appeared himself and he said, your sense of justice is something that we really appreciate. There is no other man like you in the world. But after all these things, you have still not given up your hatred for Duryodhana and his brothers. The moment you saw them in heaven, you were taken aback. And all this reaction is coming from that. Even when your wife fell down the mountain, and your brothers fell, you didn't look back, you had that much dispassion. But the moment you saw Duryodhana, Dushyasana and Shakuni sitting in Devaloka, everything came back to you. You have not given up hatred. Unless you give that up, you will not make it back there. And your brothers will not make it back there. Yudhishthira sat down, cross-legged, and he looked into himself and he saw the seeds of hatred have been suppressed but not burnt out.
Yep.
And any time they can sprout and become a forest. One seed can populate the whole creation. So this one seed of hatred still within him, and he knows if the situations nourish it, once again it'll flare up. Once again there will be a Kurukshetra in some other form. So he sat down to destroy that seed of hatred within himself.
Nice.
And when he managed to do that, then all the gods came down to that place and they said, Jaya.
What, Jaya?
Jaya. Hail.
Hail! What's been chanted?
Yeah, that's this.
Dharma Yutta hai?
युद्ध घोष से एक हो गए धरती और आकाश कर ना पाओगे जो खुद के राग लोभ पर चैन राज क्या करोगे और किस पर होना खुद पर चैन कर ना पाओगे जो खुद के राग लोभ पर चैन राज क्या करोगे और किस पर होना खुद पर चैन जो होना खुद पर जय जो होना खुद पर जय जय विजय जय जय विजय जय 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 जय.
There are two kinds of victories. One is Vijaya. Vijaya means to conquer something around us, outside of us. Success in the material world, either by study or craft or conquest, is called Vijaya. But when you manage to have an inner victory, that you have won over all the obstacles that are there within you, you are Jaya.
Oh, Jaya, that's what it
So
is.
Yudhishthira achieved Vijaya through Kurukshetra War. but that would not have delivered him anywhere. But it's the Jaya that he conquered himself. Every seed of negativity in him, every little hurdle within himself, he conquered. Now it is Jaya.
Do you want to explain this last bit?
Yeah.
What?
Well, the last bit was the most important bit. So talking about how the inner path and the inner delusion and conquering the inner defilements is way more important in the end than the external conquest, right?
Yeah, nice.
So I think you said, so Vijaya is within and then Jaya is without. Can't remember.
Okay, that's okay.
Right? So the Mahabharata and then, well, of course, the Kurukshetra battle where they won and they defeated all their enemies. Yeah, that was a great, victory and conquest externally that allowed, Dharma, to win. But at the end, he still ended up in heaven, but he still had to suffer his brothers not being there. And then because he still had this lingering delusion, it was suppressed, it wasn't vanquished, right? Where he still felt hatred and, negativity and resentment toward, the Kauravas, right? So then just seeing them there, Dushashan and Duryodhan, right, in a prominent position, in Lord Indra's court, yeah, so then his hatred, came up to be looked at, right? So then he said, well, I don't want to be here, I want to be with my brothers, and then he went down. And I'm wondering if that was more all like symbolic, because that guru didn't touch on what happened afterwards if all the Pandavas were allowed to ascend into heaven. So to me, it seems like maybe it was just a final test for Yudhishthira, right? And that maybe it was possibly, in his experience, like his mind, this was happening, for him as a sort of test. And then, of course, he passed because he was able to burn away those last illusions of hatred, right? And then, so that's the message of the stories. What I'm getting is that that's what we need to focus on and, in our own personal quests for spiritual reality. Yeah, so we got to remember these are remnants of the, the psychological thinking mind, right? The ego, the, underneath the Maya, the veil, right? We're cut off and we feel like we're separate from divinity. And then this creates our mental constructs and our mental mind, right? And that's going to accumulate all sorts of negative karma, just being in a material form in this world where everybody feels separated. Lots of anxiety, negativity, division. Everybody's got different identities, different attachments, right? And that creates separateness between us. So then we're going to accumulate these negative tendencies, these resentments, these hatreds, these greed, anger, lust, all of it, right? And that's what needs to be done away with. So even Yudhishthira, being so pure, virtuous, and noble, still had some last lingering remnants that needed to be dealt with, right? So, and if he does, and that's why I think this is very beautiful and prominent, even touching on the other Pandavas to show that they all had certain delusions in place. And if they do, and we know that, yeah, they're very prominent, advanced beings. So if they still have these things, and of course us regular folks do as well. So we need to be aware of that and then know that, okay, well, if even the Pandavas had these problems at the end, of course we're going to have some. So the best time to start working on them is, of course, now, right? Project now. So yeah, we need to get on it. So yeah.
Yeah, we don't know why the Kauravas actually went to heaven, but it's said in the comment section, it's mentioned in the description, so I'm going to read that. Duryodhan, along with his brothers, went to heaven. It was the very nature of his death that took him to heaven. The great ancestor Kuru, after whom the land around Hastinapur was called as Kurukshetra, kept tilling the earth, using his flesh as seed and blood as water, until an exasperated Indra appeared, asked him why. Kuru said he wanted nothing for himself, but his only wish was that those who die on the land tilled by him would ascend to paradise instantly.
Mm.
Indra accepted to this on one condition. It was not enough to die in Kurukshetra. The manner of death mattered too, either death by renunciation or death in war. Since Duryodhana died as a valiant warrior in the battlefield, he ascended to heaven.
Mm. And then Dushasana as well. Because we remember when we started the Mahabharata, we were being told that, yeah, there was a certain event, and it looks like this is it, that caused the land to be a holy place, right? And that beings who died there would ascend to heaven, depending on the manner of death. So, yeah. So on the battlefield, if you die as a warrior, because we got to keep in mind, too, that, you know, even those that are following adharma, like Duryodhana, you know, to them, they still think that they're, you know, doing good, and they're fighting for what they believe in, like, I deserve it and I need everything. So
yeah, I have a problem with all this. I don't quite understand
why they went to heaven.
Yeah, I very much don't understand.
Well, it's like a boon, right?
Oh, here we go again. But yeah, it's okay. I don't have to understand.
Yeah, and then let's remember too that, okay, it doesn't, so Indra's realm isn't like Krishna's realm. Like, it's still a heaven within the material existence. So it's not like, so in my mind, I don't think that they stayed there forever and ever, because we know that even those beings...
it's not a pure realm. It's just a heavenly god realm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Indra.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything then.
Yeah, so...
Oh, okay.
So true, you know, liberation and to transcend the material existence, you would end up in a realm like Vaikuntha or Krishna Lok, right? Okay. Or some other such realms that are beyond the material existence.
So Bhishma went there? Or where?
Yeah, I think Bhishma would have made it to you know, Krishna Lok or Vaikuntha, right? Beyond, right? So that would have been like salvation or liberation.
Oh, okay.
So this doesn't sound like it's liberation.
Sorry,
tonight.
No, that
just means that they get the benefit of their boons, which is the same thing like within other belief systems and traditions. We know that there's other realms of existence that you can go to, right?
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, I would still love to hear from Prakriti about how accurate was Sadhguru's account.
Totally. Yeah, anybody knows? Yeah, anybody studied the texts? Yeah, let us know if he was spot on or what might have been a little bit, because Sadhguru does have his own interpretations, and that's fine, and we love them. We all, like, the teachers have that, and that's great. So, but other than that, yeah, I thought it was, like, we got to seek the message and the meaning, right? And the basic, most prominent theme here is that we all have these problems, right? And depending on the severity of it, right? So Yudhishthira was, of course, like, beyond normal beings, but still had something, right? So he was able to go to the realm, Indra's realm, in his physical body, which is wild, right? So immense benefits there, but then there was still something lingering, right? And then for the rest of them as well, right? Which is why they didn't even get to make it in their physical bodies. So wild. And it just opens up your mind even more if you can grasp it, and if you can kind of, not to say that you have to believe anything, but at least we've heard of it, right? And then we can understand, you know, the immensity, right, of everything that we don't understand, right? And that this is a wild and crazy spiritual universe, right? Where anything is possible.
Okay, friends.
Yeah.
Well, stop here. Let us know if you belong to heaven or if you belong to hell. Or into Krishna Loka.
Yeah, if you belong
beyond.
If you belong in heaven, if you feel you're going to heaven, hit that like button. If you think you're going to hell, hit the dislike button.
Excuse me? So I want to know what did Duryodhana do in heaven then? Did he cause any trouble?
Yeah.
Or was he blissed out and he was actually enjoying his life and not trying to fight with others, because there's also the demigod realm, but they were demigods already on Earth, kind of. That's how I understood it. So now,
the sons.
Now, if they're gods in the god realms, then that actually might mean that they're happy. Shakuni is there too.
Oh, yeah.
Where's Dhritarashtra, I wonder? Are they now happy finally? Like,
Oh, yeah.
are we seeing a happy, smiling Shakuni and Duryodhan and Dushasana?
Dushasana. Happy?
Happy or what?
Yeah, there's got to be more to the
I
story.
would be really happy for them though. Like they suffer. Like they had such a rough go on Earth.
Yeah, and if
So-
they let go of their delusions, right? So even though they
Yeah.
got the boon to be there, does that mean you can be there with still harboring all this,
Yeah.
this greed and this negativity and this pride and this...
Yeah, because the heavenly realms, they wear off, right? It's just impermanent. So then they will be reborn again somewhere else.
But we remember too from our study of Buddhism, right? We know about these god realms, demigod realms, and even in the god realm, there's not so much emphasis on, spiritual attainment. So eventually their karma wears off and then they got to, come back to a realm such as this, right? Or they could even go to a hell realm after their time in the demigod realm or god realm.
So where was Duryodhan born after his positive karma wore off in the...
Yeah. So anything that
And what was
explains that?
Shakuni?
Yeah, that's why there's got to be more to the story. So anybody knows a continuation to this?
Prakriti.
Yeah. Let us know. Or just explain everything in the comments section.
Everything.
Yeah, we want to know. But
Okay,
yeah,
let's
it's very
finish
cool, very
this.
confusing.
Shocker.
Shocker. But anyways, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. This was, my mind's just trying to figure it all out.
I know there's so much more to talk about.
Is it very cool?
Yeah.
So let us know what you think and everything down in the comments. And remember, the whole reason why we are learning about all this is so that we may raise ourselves.
And raise the world. Thank you so much, everyone. We love you. Peace.
Peace.
All of you belong to hell. Heaven. I mean heaven.